Hello, hello everyone, and welcome to this week's short commentary of a game that was played in the first ever uh, World Mind Sport games in 2008. The event was one of its kind and one of the premier events in that year. This match was selected into a series of top 50 brevities that was published by the periodical Qiyi. Red was Vietnamese Nguyen and black was Grandmaster Jiang Chuan from China. Jiang Chuan had not won the Chinese national individual championships at that time. So without further ado, let us start the match. The Vietnamese started with the central cannon. So far so good. And black countered with the screen house defense with 7-pawn advancement variation. The edge cannon for Chariot exchange variation. Black refused. And in this match, Grandmaster Jiang Chuan played very aggressively, going for the rank Chariot sub-variation very early on. Red continued with the 5-9 cannons, which is one of the recognized weapons or effective weapons against this combination. Black developed the Chariot, threatening to capture the red chariot at this point, because if it did not move, black would play c9 goes to 7 to capture the red chariot. At this point in time, red chose to develop his left chariot as a rank chariot. Now, another commonly played variation would be r3 goes to 8. And this will lead to other very complicated situations. Now, black continued. Now, these are all considered to be orthodox moves. 3 goes to 8. Black could develop his chariot and prepare to storm this file. Red protected the horse in this manner. Black advanced the horse. Red went for a pin. And black played r6 plus 1 so that his chariot would now be protected by the cannon. Now this was where the match diverged from common lines. At this point in time, black went for novelty with r8 plus 2, threatening to capture the chariot and use both his chariots to pin these 3 pieces. Now this was an exploratory move at that point in time, but from the way that the match ended, this move is not considered to be desirable. In 2009, the next year after this match, r4 plus 2 was played by another Vietnamese player, Nguyen. And in that match, r6 plus 8, trading chariots, protecting the horse, and then countering to threaten the red horse. And both colors will not be without their scruples. So this was another match that was played the following year. It will be black's 2 horse and 1 cannon combination versus red's chariot and horse combination, but black would have a pawn that across the river. So this was another complicated variation. Another sub-variation would be after trading chariots. Both colors would also be pestering each other. This would easily result in many complicated situations. So r4 plus 2 was a novelty that was played in this match, and it would seem that it was not so desirable. Black continued with r8 plus 2 so that he could free this chariot to move in case red tried to trade material. Now, this linking the horses in this manner will allow for gains in both attack and defense for black. Red continued with r4 plus 2. hoping to play p3+1 to gain material on the next move. And black started to counter aggressively with c1+4. Because now the chariots are linked, red would have freed this cannon to attack also. In the match, red played p5+1 to try to attack from the central file. Now what would happen if r8-4 were played? So that the cannon would not be able to capture the red chariot. Black would move his cannon away to safety to threaten the red horse. As can be seen, this would be a very complicated situation. Black would now have an elbow horse attack in place. Red cannot capture the black horse, or it will be a check, and red will lose his chariot and the game. So retreating the cannon would allow black to threaten to deliver a check, probably a checkmate if needed be. Check. Retreating the cannon to attack the chariot. Check. And as can be seen, red would now have 1, 2, 3, 4 major pieces, and so did black. But the red king was now in mortal danger, and both black would be attacking very aggressively. So black would have a significant advantage by this point in time. That is why r8-4 would not be a appropriate counter at this point in time. So in the match, black decided to sacrifice his cannon because he had already come up with a well thought out plan. Now if black chose to capture the trade chariots, red would still have an attack on this file. So red decided to capture the red cannon. Now what would happen if red tried to attack the central file? Check. Trade of chariots. Trade of cannons. And as can be seen in just a span of a few moves, black would now have pushed his central pawn across the river, and this pawn would now be a major threat to red. Now the red horse would not have any good place for development, perhaps only on c5, h4+5, sorry, on the central file. Black can be satisfied with this situation. So that was probably why red did not chose to capture the cannon to gain material in the process. But unfortunately, black would now be given a chance to launch an assault. The check, forcing the king up, and black continued aggressively by capturing the advisor. Now one of the reasons why black linked the chariots up can now be appreciated, because by capturing the advisor, black would now start to attack very aggressively, even though red was prepared to storm the central file. So this was a very bold and powerful move on black's part. Red continued to attack the central file. Black decided to sacrifice yet another piece, and red accepted. Now this was perhaps the biggest blunder and the main reason why red would lose the match. There were two other lines that were given in the magazine. The first would be r9 equals to 6 to try to consolidate and protect this file. So what would happen? Red would capture the cause, and this was a necessary move to make because red's attack on the central file was very powerful. Now by capturing the advisor, by capturing the red cannon, the effects of this move would be greatly diminished. So check, and at this point in time, we can see that both colors would have approximately the same amount of material. Red would have extra pawn, but the position of the red king was very bad and very vulnerable to attacks by the two black chariots. So if red tried to be aggressive, a check, and the king will now be pulled out. The presence of this cannon will offer protection to this advisor. So by moving the king out, black would not only have denied a chance for this red chariot to capture the elephant to do some damage, he would also be able to use this king to assist in any future attacks with the chariot. So, and as can be seen, black would now be threatening to checkmate with r3 equals to 5. So black would have a winning position. So that is why r9 equals to 6 to try to launch a counter-offensive would not be a viable option. h5 minus 3 to threaten the black chariot would not be a good idea also. Black would simply play RA plus 6, threatening to gain material, because black could consider to continue with r6 equals to 5. Sorry, that is protected. Could be prepared to capture the cannon as needed be, and thus continue attacking as seen in the previous line. Now, RA plus 2 would not be a good idea, because red will simply trade material, offer a trade on material if black did not want. Now both colors will be involved in the melee, and it will be very hard for either color to try to control the situation, and the margin for error will be very slim. So RA plus 2 would not be a good idea, or it would have been better for black to simply play RA plus 6. So in the match, red accepted the black's sacrifice, and this gave black valuable time, precious time to start attacking. Black offered to exchange a material, which black decided to refute. Now what would happen if material was exchanged? Check. Capturing a central cannon, and black would gain back lost material and also have a winning position. Although black would now would be one major piece down. The attacks by the red chariot were more than what red could deal with. So we're coming to the end of the board. Red decided to retreat his cannon to target the black horse, forcing a trade of material, and black would take the opportunity to clear out both advisors. Now, when there's a saying in Xiangqi, when you lack advisors, you have to be wary of the enemy's chariot. So at this point in time, we can see that the king was very, very vulnerable to attack, and any defense that red could come up with will probably have something to do with the chariot and the cannon at this point, which would be insufficient. So that was why red pulled back the horse to help defend, and black simply advanced his cannon, threatening to play r8 plus 5 later on. A check, and as can be seen, at this point in time, red would have extra material, but his defenses were basically destroyed. Seeing that there was no way that red could salvage the situation, red decided to resign. I ran this position in my computer and found that black had already amassed a huge advantage of almost 3,500 points by this time. So that was why red resigned. So a quick look back at the match. The central cannon, edge cannon for chariot defense, and red chose to attack with the 5-9 cannons, while black chose to play very aggressively with the rank chariot variation, threatening to capture or attack this red chariot. So far so good. Black charged his horse across the river, a pin was attempted, and black chose to give his chariot a route and also protect the horse at this point in time. Unfortunately, red tried a novelty that did not work out. So, as can be seen, after moving the chariot to this position, this red chariot could not do much later on in the game. Black leaned his chariots decisively. Black tried to block the black horse. Red tried to block the black horse, and black started countering with c1+4. Red attempted an attack on the central file, but at this point in time, black decided to sacrifice material. Check the elbow horse, and after capturing the advisor, black was prepared to sacrifice more material, which he did with e7+5. And this was another major blunder by red. He chose to capture the black horse. And red, now this was a do or die situation, and black started attacking aggressively. Red refused to trade material. And at this point in time, black would now have simply destroyed red's defense, and the chariots were now too menacing for red to handle. So that was why black resigned. Red resigned, sorry. So I hope you like this short video tutorial. If you like the work that I've been doing, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. Thank you.